was there just, there should have been July too. No,
Oh,
I think only one side printed. It's okay.
oh, because I never look at the backs.
No worries.
But at least they'll know June. We could bring the other half next.
Yes,
Or I
that's
can put
true.
it up on the screen.
Nancy and I have hit geezerdom.
What made you decide that?
We went and had lunch at the senior center.
You know what? Their menu looks pretty good.
It surprised me, but I
Should
said,
make it a daily lunch date.
We won't tell anybody.
You ready? All right, let's call this meeting to order at 5:45. Amy, oh wait, let's do Pledge of Allegiance first.
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Roll call.
Chairman Gilbert, absent. Vice Chair Hartless.
Here.
Member Bailey.
Here.
Member Mealy.
Here.
Member Com.
Here.
Member Penn.
Here.
And Member Clark is absent.
No calls to the public.
No, ma'am.
Okay, librarians report.
All right, so library staff has successfully mapped out this summer and is excited to give you a sneak peek at some of the programming for summer reading. See the attached flyer. We do have July all mapped out as well. Unfortunately, that wasn't printed. I'm trying to log into my Canva right now so I can let you know what's going to be happening in July. May will and already is be a quieter month in the library, as most of our weekly programming is on pause as we prep for summer. Book club will still meet all summer long. We had a successful room dedication and ribbon cutting on May 1st, which the Chamber of Commerce hosted. We are so grateful for their hard work and dedication to the community, and thank you to those of you who were able to join us and honor Jean McQuarrie. As this is typically a slower month with our winter visitors leaving, we are taking an opportunity to conduct inventory during this time, and the library is closed this week, Monday to Wednesday, and will reopen on Thursday. And then at the bottom is just a few statistics there, but not much going on.
Okay, thank you, Phoenix. Anybody have any questions for Phoenix? Okay. Old business. Discussion and possible action on the following items: spring, summer events.
Okay. Well, you guys have June in front of you. I believe Amy's going to pull up July right now. As it's going to be a busy summer, as you can see. And July is just as busy as, if not as busy as June, if not more busy than June. Does anybody have any questions about the programming that's being offered, or want to know a little bit more about the programs?
Yes, who is Wildman Phil?
He is a gentleman that travels to various different libraries and schools, and he brings different wild animals and like reptiles and things. Yeah. Yeah, I'm
wanna
excited.
come.
You can. It's for all ages.
We had him in the past
I believe so.
I can go.
because somebody
Must have a
had
company
came
by an
to
adult,
Blake
okay.
Oh, I remember that.
quite several years ago. And
Phoenix Zoo used to come.
Yeah, but he's great. He was he actually travels with the juggler that we use often, and he'll be at, I believe, one of the county libraries before, and so we were able to snag him to come and visit us before he makes his way back into the city area.
fantastic.
The Castle Crusaders, which is our K to second grade group, we're going to be doing a lot of STEM-based activities, pretty much just like our program Box Trolls that we had. We'll have a bunch of boxes out. We want them to build a castle. We'll build dragons, swords, all of those knight things, and then at the end, use our swords and shields to tear down that castle. It'll be fun.
That does sound fun. What's your book for book club this month?
We are reading The Familiar by, I think her name is Lee. Hold on, I'm listening to it on Audible. Let me pull it up. By Lee Bardugo. It's pretty interesting. I'm enjoying it. We also have Dragon Riders, which is our 3rd to 5th graders. They'll be doing various crafts with Miss Cassie and pretty much dragon-themed stuff that week. And then we also have our, we're splitting up our teens this summer as well. So we'll do a junior high group and a high school group. So that way they'll be a little bit, hopefully we'll get more high schoolers if they know that the junior high kids won't be there. And then I feel like the junior high kids are more comfortable whenever they're just around themselves as well. So that is also happening in July. So we're doing almost like camp styles for each age group and then some supplemental programming throughout the rest of the summer.
Okay. Any questions? Anything else to add,
There it
Phoenix?
is. I believe she's pulling up the July calendar right now. If you guys want to see it, maybe. We're doing 3 different murder mysteries. Well, 3 of the same murder mystery. It's a fairy tale theme, but for different ages. So we're gonna do a junior high murder mystery night, a high school murder mystery night, and an adult murder mystery night at the end of. Is it not on there?
Yeah, it is.
Oh, okay.
Just won't let me.
Oh, I see. But that'll be at the end of July. And then we are doing a enchanted story time at the beginning of June and at the beginning of July, encouraging kids to come dressed up in princess gowns, superhero costumes, whatever they deem fantasy or fun. We'll do a story time and then open up the floor for dancing and snacks and just have a fun little evening with our 0 to 10-year-olds. We're bumping up that age group a little bit because we know our older kids also like to dress up and have fun. No worries. It's okay. So yeah, that's our summer reading plans. Thoughts, comments, concerns, ideas? What we don't have on the calendar that we've done the last 2 years was winter in July. Any thoughts? Would you guys like to see that come back? What are your thoughts on that? Normally we would utilize the grass area, but we don't have a grass area to utilize at this point. So that's kind of what we were thinking as to why we didn't want to bring it back this summer. But it was really fun.
I think you've got a lot of other stuff going on here, and it seems like you're kind of sticking with the fantasy dragon castle princess theme.
Yeah.
Christmas or winter in July doesn't really fit that necessarily, so.
Okay. Awesome.
Okay. On to new business. Discussion to approve or deny recommendations to town council regarding library policies.
So, you guys have 2 packets up there for the most part, right? 2 packets? Okay.
I have a free one if you guys want to.
Pass it around.
They were just big.
So, I apologize for the fact that they all say page 10, so I can't say turn to page 10 and it mean anything. But there were a couple policies that I wanted to speak about that have been updated or up a little bit. We have added let me start at the beginning, actually. In our previous policy, we had a library rules and regulation, working with the lawyer to make this more up-to-date and cohesive. We decided to remove the library rules and regulation because a lot of what is said in here, in the library rules and regulation, is then repeated in the standard of acceptable behavior that we have in our current policy. So we got rid of that. Anything that was in there that we thought was worth keeping, we put into the standard of acceptable behavior. In addition, a couple pages down, there's a progressive enforcement policy. This is completely new to our library. We are very excited to have this as a staff. It gives us a little bit more to back us up whenever we're having issues with difficult patrons, more guidelines as to what as to what we need to do if there are more than however many violations within the year, and just kind of backs up staff as a whole. A lot of what you see added into this policy, the lawyer has looked into different library policies throughout the state of Arizona, libraries that are similar size as ours, just making sure that we are up to standard with other policies throughout the state. Any questions on the progressive enforcement?
So it starts over after a year.
Yeah. Yep.
So if they have 6 violations within 1 year, they're permanently trespassed from the library. Is that permanent, or do they get to come back in a year then?
No, it's permanent
That'd
at
be
that point.
permanent.
Yeah.
That would include minors.
Yeah. It does. I would think that there's, and it also includes you guys in this policy, which is another reason why I wanted to bring it up. Any decision that is made by me can be appealed to you guys. And then it would be up to you whether or not to overturn the decision.
Does that happen often? Do you have to have people removed from the library for disruptive behavior?
Yeah, we're a public library. We're open to the public, and we don't turn anybody away. So we come across different behaviors for sure. On the next page, there's the unattended children and or disruptive behavior policy with the policy statement. In our previous one, there was an unattended and or disruptive behavior policy, but it kind of just left it up to interpretation of what a child was. Our current policy, as you see, breaks down different, different age groups and what's expected of them, or how we would handle the situation depending on the age of the child. So say there was an unruly child that was left in the library, or just a child under the age of 8 that was left in the library, how we would go about that. And then also clarifying that even older minors are still technically left unattended after a certain amount of time. We do see that often where kids are waiting for rides, and in the policy it states that we cannot leave, we can't wait outside with them. We have to stay inside the library doors waiting for a ride to get there, and then inform their parent or guardian of our policy. And if they aren't there after a period of time, then it is up to library staff to then leave the child in the care of police at that point. And we do get lots of children that are there all day. Which there are worse places to leave your child, but
Huh?
there are worse places to leave your child, but
True.
yeah. And then it breaks down disruptive behavior a little bit. Disruptive behavior, this was added and I love it, of any age while there's a parent or guardian present. A lot of times, if there's adults there, then they assume that the behavior is okay because they're watching their child, but they still need to follow the same standard of conduct. We've beefed up the book selection policy quite a bit, especially with book banning being an issue, not in our community, but as a whole. There is a form that is available for patrons to fill out. It's a reconsideration of materials form. So if they think that there's something in the library that is unsuitable or should not be in the library, there is a form that can be filled out for that. And at that point, they would get a response from myself within 60 calendar days with a final decision on whether or not that book would be removed. And if something were to be questioned, then the materials wouldn't be pulled from the shelf until it was decided that it was unsuitable. So materials wouldn't be removed just because a form was turned in. The scope of collection on the next page isn't, it's pretty much the same. It just breaks down what we have in the library. The library card policy has been simplified and expanded at the same time, just with different information. Library cards are free. We are a fine-free library. Winter visitors are required to do a deposit for a library card if they're here for less than 6 months. They get their deposit back once all of their materials are returned. It's a $50 deposit. There is a cost for replacing a library card, and it just kind of breaks down the responsibility of the card holder. Circulation policy is, again, simplified, so it's easier to understand, but it's expanded, so it's broken down more thoroughly. And if you want to see the original one, I can send it to you. It's just another 38 pages. Additionally, we had a DVD/Blu-ray policy, but we no longer house Blu-rays. We found that most patrons don't have Blu-ray players, and then if they check out a Blu-ray, then they aren't able to watch it, and then, so we're just doing strictly DVDs now. So that was the one change on the DVD policy. The interlibrary loan, resource access and attainment policy, just explained a little bit more what an interlibrary loan was. Previously it said ILL, which that's library lingo, so we wanted to make sure it was more accessible for anybody who were to read this. The young adult services and material selection policy has been expanded upon, just really trying to hammer home that the materials that are in the young adult room, in the teen room, are for teens, and that's kind of it. Same thing with our children's services and materials. Any of our services and materials that are for teens are in that room, besides programming. There's a reference policy in there. Really just stating that we are not allowed or required to give legal advice or medical advice, which is something we get asked a lot. But it is our responsibility to turn patrons to a credible source to be able to get information. And we also cannot translate anything. So if you're having a hard time understanding tax paperwork, we cannot say what it is. We have to then point you in the right direction to find that, those answers. The weeding and deselection policy is still the same for the most part. The gift policy is, it has changed. Our previous gift policy had a form at the bottom that was like a donation slip that could be filled out. We cannot do that, so that was removed from our policy. There's a telephone use, equipment use, and fax use policy. Those are pretty much all the same. Just stating that the phones are for library staff. If you need a ride, yes, you can use it, but you can't spend all day on our phones. The wireless access policy you guys had previously approved, as well as the computer use policy. So those were updated in 2022, I think, 2023. And then now that we have a program room, there's a little bit more that goes into our program room policies, how it can be used, what it can be used for. So, for example, if somebody wanted to use the room for campaigning, that wouldn't be allowed within the library at all, but especially within our program room. The library cannot be used for fundraising without express consent from me. Just really things to cover our own behinds in the library. There's a super short study room policy. The library display policy, so if somebody were wanting to display information, they would look to this policy for more of a guideline of what they can and cannot post inside the library. And in that policy, it also states that they can appeal it if they think that it's something that should be up in the library, and then that would go to you guys, and then there's a volunteer policy in here, which is pretty much the same, and then that reconsideration of materials form is there as well. And all of our new forms or updated forms are in that packet too. So everything has gone over by the attorney, and we are now up to standard with a lot of other Arizona libraries.
Okay, thank you for all of that, Phoenix. Anybody have any questions? Okay, does anybody want to make a motion to approve the recommendations to town council regarding these library policies?
I'll move to approve these policies to go to council.
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, next on the new business is SRP training recap.
That was Joanna and Courtney, and they went to Tucson. I forgot that that was on the agenda. Let me see. Can I see if they can come over? Great. So sorry. Can we go to the next? Okay, can we come back to that, and I'll have them come over and tell you all about it? Great.
Next is the attendance policy.
Thank you, Vice Chair. We just wanted to bring this as a little reminder of our attendance policies. I included here Chapter 2, which outlines the boards, committees, and commissions for the town. That gives us, our composition, appointments and terms, nomination of members, and then the vacancies and absences. So, yeah, it's just super important that we're here. 3 consecutive unexcused absences will be considered not fulfilling obligations. And if you miss 50% of the regular meetings, Those are both grounds for removal. Obviously, we don't like to do that. We like to have you all around. We understand that life gets in the way and whatnot. But just communicate with Phoenix, and that way we can disseminate information to everybody. If you're not going to be here and we're not going to have a quorum, there's no sense in having you guys all show up and sit here for 20 minutes. So just a little reminder on that.
Any questions on that? Anybody? Also, they can join by Zoom, right? And if you need the Zoom link, Amy can give it to you. And so that's always an option too. Okay, moving on. Discussion and action to approve or deny the minute meetings of November 13th, 2023. Do we have a quorum? Yes. Okay, we'll have to skip that for now. Discussion and action to approve or deny meeting minutes of December 11th, 2023. That one we can do. Does anybody want to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from December 11th, 2023.
Thank you, Zach. Does anybody want a second?
A second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? No. Okay, awesome. And then discussion and action to approve or deny meeting minutes of February 12th, 2024.
We'll bring those ones back too because we don't have a quorum.
We don't have a quorum for that today, okay. And then now they are here to talk about SRP training.
So we went to summer readings.
Will you stand behind the mic?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, please, thank you.
Hello, everybody. That's so official. Hi. Courtney and I went to Tempe to go to the summer reading training. What?
I said Tucson.
Oh, Tucson? No, that's far. No, Tempe. And it was a lot of fun. It was very interactive. We came back with a lot of ideas. And although their interpretation of the summer reading program is a little bit different from our interpretation, because it is open to interpretation every year. Yes, the theme of summer reading program, which is Adventure in Your Library. We're going more of like a knight in shining armor, woodsy, fairy, enchanted theme, that kind of adventure. And they talked a lot about like, like camping, nature, which is still like, we're doing like woodsy, camping stuff, but a little bit more magical. But there was a lot of things that we can turn into that magical theme. There were good stories that we learned that were really interactive with like folding up a paper and turning it into many different things, different hats, and like a life jacket and stuff. The story is really cute. Courtney's been practicing it because she wants to do a good job. Courtney, you want to talk about it a little bit?
So we learned like some ways to keep like young kids as well as adults engaged in programming. We learned like little songs and activities to do with the kids, and we also talked about gardening and things for the adults. There wasn't much for the teens, but overall it was really informative and really cool. The lady that we spoke with who hosted it, she was very animated. She's a speaker, like she tells stories for a living. Michigan.
Oh, Michigan. Oh, yeah.
Michigan.
And she used her thumb to tell us where she was. She was from here. I remember that too. Do you guys have any questions? I feel that was pretty broad.
No,
No?
no questions? Thank you, ladies.
Ah, thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Very official. All right, are we good? Yeah. Okay. We'll see you guys later. Have a good meeting.
Okay, that is all for new business. Any future topics we want to discuss? Or is there anything anybody would like to add or any questions?
I'm just curious how we're coming on the, this direction? For the book walk out, and like when are they doing the landscaping and?
They got the grant,
Yeah, the grant was approved.
but I don't know when it'll be done.
I don't know that we've actually got the funds for the grant yet to start researching quotes for landscaping. I think once the landscaping is, we start kind of that design phase of that, that will be a perfect time to bring Phoenix in for adding that storybook walk in there.
You have books chosen and everything, because I know you said they had to be specific ones.
You have to be specific ones. I haven't looked into that at all yet. Besides knowing where to look for them, I don't want to get ahead of it too much and then be sitting on all of these pages and pages of books and waiting. So a lot of those can just be printed in-house. So that'll be an easy grab.
We'll bring an update next month
Okay.
on that.
I'm sad when I walk or look by and it's all bleh out
Walk
there.
in the garden. The garden's great.
That's nice and happy, but yeah.
Our flowers are flowering and it's beautiful.
Okay.
Yeah, and the tomatoes are great.
The tomatoes are good.
If nobody has anything else, we'll adjourn this meeting at 6:16. Thank you for joining us today.
You guys like
Yeah, that's all right.
to read